Hey folks, how's it going? I am Dunk, and in this video we're going to be looking at the Tank Cleric build for Dark and Darker. So yeah, we're just going to do a little bit of a guide to start off with, and I'll move into some commentary. So just off the bat, this is more of a solo focused guide. I'm not really sure what the what you would do for teams, but Cleric is definitely a more team focused character. This is hard for solo. Just want to make that clear. I hadn't played on this open test yet. I hadn't played Cleric. And I only really played a few hours in the other playtest with Cleric, so I thought this was going to be easy going into it, but I spent about 4 hours yesterday and was getting nowhere with it. But yeah, so I ended up getting some good gear, and I got some good games in today. So this gear's a bit different from what you see in the commentary, because I do end up dying, but it's the same idea. It's full plate. You can't get there's some stuff. Fighter can get the best defense plate armor in the game, but you can get pretty close with the Cleric. So yeah, it's just a full plate, and we've got the Templar armor here. I think you can get, there's a better helmet you can get, but I was just using the kettle hat just because there was some cheap blue ones that I could find. And I'm using the flanged mace and the heater shield. You got like the war maul, and I think there's like two-handed weapons you can use, but I prefer the defense with the shield for Cleric. So yeah, we just got flanged mace. Flanged mace, your other option is the Morning Star. Morning Star is just a bit slower. I like just having a flanged mace. If you're coming up with people with shields, it's nicer to have those quicker attacks. And other than that, we've got Spellbook. Spellbook's a weird one. You really don't need any higher level than just your basic Spellbook. Spellbook's definitely the better option than the staff, just because Spellbook's quicker. Staff does more damage, but you're not focusing on damage output with your Spellbook for this Cleric build. You're just focusing on getting your buffs out as quickly as possible. And yeah, so what else we got? Let's just start off with the perks then. So starting off, first one, I'd probably recommend taking this first. You've got your blunt weapon mastery, which is it's a 10% increase on your attack power for blunt weapons, and that's the only weapons you really need to be using for the Cleric class. So I like to take that first off. And then we've got Perseverance, which it reduces all incoming damage by 3, which, you know, that's nice. It doesn't seem too much, doesn't seem too useful, but you've got stuff like the damage over time effects. So if you got a rogue with, you know, poison weapons, I think it's 4 damage a tick just at the base. So if you're reducing that by 3, it's only 1 damage per tick, so that's really nice. Then we've got Holy Aura. It's just an increase of your armor rating. So this is for yourself and nearby enemies. So again, you can see the influence of the emphasis for team play with this build. But, you know, still an increased armor rating of 15 for yourself is very nice. And finally, we've got Brewmaster. I don't know. You've got some other options here for your last one. I think you should definitely take these 3. But you got an argument for Advanced Healer. But for yourself, for solo, there's only one healing, you know, magic spell you have. So that increasing by 5, I don't think it's that useful. You've got Kindness, which is just that's a team skill that's going to be useless for you in solo. Protection from Evil is nice. You're reducing harmful effects by 50%. You know, I can do without it. I'm not too concerned with using it. Requiem, another team one, and then Undead Slain, which is more the PvE focus. And I think you're better off just focusing on building for PvP when you're doing solo. And then for our perks, or skills rather, we have Judgment. Well, I'll first off just say Spell Memory. You always want to be using Spell Memory to get your buffs out, but so yeah, you're always going to be taking that. But for this one, Judgment, it's a bit of a toss-up. I think you probably might be better off using Smite, just because that's just a nice little buff. You got 10 magic damage for 7 seconds. But Judgment, Judgment's scary, because when the enemy sees you going into the prey motion, they know they're not getting away from that attack. So I feel like it's more of just a, you know, to scare your enemy. And, you know, 25 damage is nice, and then 20% move speed decrease. But yeah, so that's all our perks and skills. What else? So yeah, we've got Brewmaster, which I didn't even focus there. Brewmaster, you can drink what are these called? Yeah, it's just ale. So usually when you drink ale, you have the drunk effect, which just makes your screen all like wobbly, and it's, you know, that's disorienting. So Brewmaster just removes that the negative effects of drunkenness. And yeah, it's really nice. I could see you not going for this just because Cleric is so buff heavy that you have to spam out so many buffs that just adding ale on top of it is kind of annoying. But I like it just you drink quickly, so you can get it out quick when people aren't expecting it. You just sip an ale and then you've got the increased 9 strength, which is very nice. And let me see, it's very cheap too. Like the basic ale for 7 strength, it's only 1 coin. That's crazy. I usually take these, but I could probably start taking these as well. And 11 strength, that's a nice little difference. 2 more strength. So yeah. What else? Have a look at the spells. So yeah, you always want to take lesser heal. That's just your heal. Nice little 15-point heal for yourself. It's very quick. It's quick and easy. It's nice. And we've got bless. So these 3, this is the order you want them in. So yeah, you always want to take lesser heal. You want to take these as well. This one's sort of optional, but we'll get to that. So these 3 are your buff spells, and you want to do it in this order rather. So you've got bless, just 3 strength and agility and will. It's very nice. 30 seconds. That's a long time, and you want that first just because these other 2 are only 20 seconds long. So yeah, you start off with the bless, then you get your protection, which is just a nice little shield for 20 seconds, and then you've got divine strike, which is an additional 7 or 5 attack damage for 20 seconds. So yeah, so you hit bless, and then you get these 2, and then you go and get your ale, and you can get a protection potion. I'm pretty sure these stack. I haven't actually looked into that really, but pretty sure these stack. So you can do your 3 buffs, then your potion of protection, and then an ale, and then you're very buffed. But that's something to keep in mind. Is I don't know, like Cleric doesn't seem all that varied. It's a very simple gameplay style. You get in, you try and figure out where your enemy is, and when you're closing the distance, you just quickly get in your buff. So you're always doing that. You just buff, try and get into combat, and then rinse and repeat. So yeah, I don't know. This definitely isn't my favorite class. I much prefer fighter and rogue over cleric, but it's a different play style. You might like it more than I do, and yeah, it's just a little guide for it. So I think that's it. What else we got? We just got our penance. That doesn't really matter. Perks and skills. Yeah, I mean, you might be tempted to take cleanse or bind, but cleanse is just, you're better off just getting a heal instead of using cleanse if you're poisoned or something. And bind only lasts 0.75 seconds, so that might trip someone up, but I mean, you're better off just again getting a heal in or getting another buff in, or just trying to close the distance for an attack. Oh yeah, and our last spell here is Holy Light. So it heals an ally. This isn't going to be a heal for you, but it does have 100 base magical damage on undead targets. So that's nice just for clearing out some enemies. People also like to take Holy Strike, but I feel like it's just so weak. It hits multiple, enemies, but it's only 15 damage. And using this against players, I don't really think it's worth it. The 2 seconds of blindness, the blindness debuff in this game is not really anything to worry about. So yeah, I just like taking that. You can mix it up though. And yeah, I think that's it. So, anything else I'm thinking of? No, that's probably about it. So let's get into some gameplay then. Alright, we got our first game here. I think we get into some combat pretty quickly. Just starting off, just taking out the mummies. So I think I hear some footsteps here. And you can see I'm just switching my spells over to the bless. It's a cleric, he starts buffing. Close the door, just get some space between us. If I get my buffs off now, his buffs will start running out. So he's coming up. Forgot up the wall spike. I get hit by wall spike so many times throughout this gameplay. I'm also just pointing it up. You can bless other people and, you know, other monsters. So if there's something in front of you, sometimes you just want to aim away. So I get all 3 of them off. He hits me with a Holy Strike there. I get my ale in, get a heal off, start moving forward. We both hit a judgment, and yeah, that was a lot of damage on me with the Holy Strike followed by the judgment. There's a player dead. I thought that was him there, but then I can hear him. He must have killed that person. Yeah, so this is, what is his name? Agnar. And he's already killed 2 people with the War Maul, so I'm sort of just being a bit cautious. He does look less geared than me, but he does know what he's doing, so I'm just playing it safe here. Backing off when he's coming forward. He's drank his ale. He's got all his buffs on. Just backing up, seeing if he follows. It's also nice to have these clarity potions. I think one of them... Yeah, so one just basic clarity potion is gonna heal up. One of each of your buffs. So those are nice to have. And then if you use 2 of them, it's gonna heal up your... It's gonna recover one of your lesser heals as well. So the lesser heal takes significantly more time than the buffs do to regenerate. So yeah, here, just turning off the light and trying to get some regeneration on. Take off my potions too, just so people can't see you. If you don't know, potions will always have a, you know, light emitter from them. So if you try and hide in the dark and you have potions on, people are going to see you. So yeah, I'm just sitting here trying to recover some of my lesser spells. I also prefer, just in general, especially on the Goblin Caves here, I prefer to be on the higher ground. So this is the 2nd level run in the Goblin Caves. It's also weird, most of the time I feel like the escape portals spawn in on the 2nd levels, and it's, in general, it's just easier to get down from the 2nd level if there is, you know, an escape portal below you. And yeah, and we also have, just in this situation here, a nice big hole in front of us. So if we hear anyone coming, we can get the drop on them. So we once again get hit by the wall spike there. This happens so many times in the gameplay. It's I should learn where they are. I mean, I know they're there. I just keep forgetting every time. But yeah, I heard some players. I think it was below me, but I decided just to use the lesser heal. I probably would have just used a bandage in this situation if I didn't think that there was enemies around me. So yeah, lots of footsteps. You hear a portal go up there. Just keeping an eye always on the top right. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So including me, that's 6 minus 10. So there should be 4 players left, but there is 2 escape portals out now. So I see this person below me. I'm also hearing it sounds like a warlock spell, so I don't immediately jump down. So yeah, so there is a rogue there and a warlock. Just keeping an eye out, taking my time, not overextending myself. Not sure if he saw us there, or if he was trying to attack the rogue. So yeah, 4 people left. 1 rogue, 1 warlock. They don't look too geared. And yeah, it's also important to remember on this map you always have this exit. It's always going to be there. I think it only opens up when the last circle starts closing in, or just... I'm not sure. I think it's like the last circle or the second last circle. But anyway, it's always just good to keep an eye out for this area, clear it out, and there we go, it's open already. So yeah. In situations like this, it can be tense, you know, when there's still 4 players left and you're on this small of a circle. So I usually try not to overextend myself. And we can see here, this is the cleric that we were up against, and he had some nice... Wasn't that geared, but he had some green items, and he could have fucked us up. Even though, you know what, I'm pretty geared myself, but it's just, I feel like even with all this gear, Cleric is still pretty weak. You don't have all the extra armor buffs that you do for Fighter, so you do need to be careful when you're playing solo Cleric. Alright, game number 2. It's always good just to check around your little spawn area. There's usually, you know, either a chest or a little trinket sitting around. Right off the bat, we've got footsteps to our right. So just keeping that in mind at all times. It is always hard to tell if they're on the same level as you. So with the book out there, just being careful. It does sound like it's below me though. A lot of stuff going on. Not sure if that's just a warlock or if it's a warlock and a mage fighting. So you can see the explosion coming through the ground. So this is the area I usually try and get towards, just because down here to the left is where the big loot pile is, and you can hear someone there already going for it. So we hear someone on our left trying to break pots, and we can hear someone walking around on our right as well. They're buffing up. You can hear them taking a potion. So I'm getting ready. Waiting a little bit. Don't think he sees us. He's got some gear on him and he's already preemptively used a pot, so I'm being a bit cautious. Get the eel in too. Trying to bait the attacks a little. Getting in judgment scares him a bit, and there we go, he's done. Yeah, I feel like they start panicking once they see judgment. Because you know at that point there's nothing you can do. Even though he had the protection. He should have tried to move in first, but he just started swinging immediately. We've got another fighter here. Just going through the cleric cycle, getting the buffs in. I think we also go on some wild goose chases throughout this video. Need to be careful here because there's spikes in the walls. I managed not to get hit in these ones. So yeah, that's the one downside of using full plate armor is you're significantly slower. You can still keep up though somewhat. Not when they're, you know, closing doors in your face, but let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus me, that's 5, so there's 5 players left. Thought he went up, but he decided to start fighting golems down there. So I was just taking out some golems there, having a look around, getting down on this guy. He also, you know, he's a fighter, so he has the sprint perk. And that helps a lot. Sprint skill, rather. Not too sure what exactly he's doing here, but I decided to just back off. Yeah, I usually, even in situations here where we've got enemies close, I usually just try and take out the goblins and all the, you know, PvE enemies. So yeah, it's another weird scenario with the Goblin Caves. Is people trying to team up with you. With Fighter, I'd usually not try and team up at all unless it's a really geared player that's, you know, trying to team with me. If you don't know, that's what, when a person starts crouching or emoting to you, that's usually to indicate that they don't want to fight you. But as Fighter, I'll usually just ignore them and try and kill them. But with Cleric here, it's a bit sketchy. And I'll usually just let them. But you also need to be careful when people are trying to be friendly with you, because it can very easily turn into a situation where they're backstabbing you. So yeah, I end up just doing a little bit more looting. Wasn't really any more action. I'll just decide to get out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 more players left probably. And yeah, this guy was so geared. would have got fucked up if I went up against this guy. But yeah, that's something you just need to keep in mind when you're in the situations where you've got such a little circle here. You just need to be more aware. So we've got some trading going on here. So that's just the sort of loop of Dark and Darker. You just get in, get some loot, come out with your gold, and then upgrade your armor. So I think I have mostly blue at this point, apart from the Templar armor, so I'm just looking around. C1, 200 gold for was a +1 all and +1 strength. That's something to note with Cleric as well, is that they just have really nice scaling for pretty much all the skills, so getting +1 all attributes on Cleric is, you know, just better than the other classes. So yeah, there's our and his blue Templar armor. We also lose spell capacity. That's something to keep in mind a little bit, is just spell capacity, just because I had +2 spell capacity on the green Templar armor, so I just had to change it to Sanctuary. I'm not actually sure if Sanctuary works on solo, because it's like a big aura heal, but it says for allies, and I don't know if that counts you. I hadn't actually used it in any of these runs, so I just switched back to, what is a Holy Light. But yeah, so let's get into another game. Okay, next game. Starting off in this area with a little skeleton. It's kind of weird that it makes the chest opening sounds for a skeleton's body. Yeah, this is a nice little area. We've got the escape tunnel thing right here. So I usually try and clear this out, just so you can have it later in the game. You can also get some good loot. You've got the golden mage and a big shrine. And there's also the centipede just down and to the right, which I think I'll go and fight it now. So with the Golden Mage, if you don't know, they do, I think it's 4 of the ball projectile attacks in a row, and then they'll try to inhale. So what you can do is just wait them out to do the 4 attacks, then go in for your attacks. But there, you have the height advantage. I'm pretty sure the little ball thing goes over you at that point, so I just went in for the kill. And here we have the centipede boss. There are 2 of these on the Golden Caves, and they really aren't too hard. Their normal attacks are pretty telegraphed, and you can get out of the way easily. You just want to circle around them. The one that's annoying is the poison attack, which has a wider range, and I can often get hit by it. I think I also get hit a few times here, just because there's the lamp on the right there. I get stuck in it a few times. I think I got stuck on the skeleton there, actually. I was trying to move to the right. But yeah, you see, I usually try and move to the right and duck down when he does the poison. But otherwise, for these lunge attacks, you just have to strafe them. There we go. Not too bad. And they usually drop some nice loot. And we also have the health shrine here, so this is nice. It's also important to know, just when you're doing, you know, opening chests or using the shrines, don't face directly towards it. Usually try and aim off to the right a little bit, so that you know, have a bit more of a field of view. So yeah, that was a pretty bad loot drop from the centipede. I think the loot pool for the centipede is universal, so they can drop any item. So yeah, sometimes, like most of the time, I'll get rings and bracelets, or is that what they're called, necklaces? But there, I just got some useless utility items. So I did hear someone here, and it turns out it was a rogue who was stealthed. Gets the poison attack off me, so I'm just backing up, getting a heal off, try to buff. I've got the circle to my back here. It's not a great situation, though I always just keep in mind that I have the exit that'll open up just behind me. So just checking my corners there. I knew he couldn't immediately use his hide again, though he could have used a health pot, or not, an invisibility pot, but I didn't hear the invisibility pot, so. Yep, just sticking on the outskirts here. See, I was going to move forward there, but there's the Goblin Mage there, and I didn't want to get caught off by a rogue when a Goblin Mage starts attacking me. So I didn't have much happening there. I just, you know, when the circle is this low, I'm not really taking any chances, especially with the Cleric. It's just a bit too weak. But I saw that our gate was open there, so just hit a pot. Oh, it wasn't open. Thought it was. We're just waiting about a little bit. We've got the health shrine up here. Just waiting for it to open. Do get a little bit concerned here. Decide to move back into the circle. I can always run back from here to the exit. But I just decided I didn't want to sit there and take all the swarm damage. We heard some footsteps, but we also heard an attack and seen someone dying in the top right. But keep my weapons out anyway. You can see here what I'm doing with the Goblin Archer. So I'm just crouching down and aiming a bit to the left of where the Goblin Archer is attacking. They seem to try and aim for your head to the left a little bit. So just getting rid of these. Getting the heal off. You don't want to be stuck in this situation with a bit low health. That's why I didn't immediately go for the portal. But we're in the swarm here. Don't hear anyone else. Oh, we do hear someone. We got this guy coming in. So yeah, I probably could have taken him on, but decided not to chance it. Next game. This is a nice little spawn. We've got a nice loot room up here. Just want to check from the far side here where we spawn, someone can spawn there. So I was just having a little look before I started attacking these goblins. Skipping forward here just because this game is a bit uneventful. It's also a weird one. I think we come across a lot of different people that are trying to be friendly with us. So we got this person here. Crouching towards them. We're friendly. Backing off a little. I'm being cautious here. I'm always cautious when we've got someone trying to be friends. Because this guy could just come up to our back and start swinging. So I get behind the goblin first. See what he starts doing. So he's helping us out here. Taking out these. But I'm always cautious when I get into this situation. Start swinging at any moment, so I'm just being cautious. It's kind of more annoying to team up with people, because you just have that added pressure of when is this person going to turn on me. It's kind of not fair because, you know, there are some people that are very friendly in the game, but, you know, there's always the possibility of them turning on you, so. So I push forward here, put a bit of distance between me and the other guy, and then this is our second friendly. I initiate it just because he likes geared, and I don't want to get in a fight when this guy's in front of me and I have the other guy behind me. So I initiate the friendly dance with a little crouch. I should also put the emote on. It's nice having the you start off with the surrender emote. I think everyone does, and that's just a nice way to indicate that you are friendly. So here's our third friendly enemy. It gets complicated because if all these people come together, you know, are we all friends, or is someone going to start a fight with someone else, and whose side am I going to pick? It gets complicated. I don't like it. I don't like being friendly, but you know, I feel so weak with the cleric that I'll take these friendly opportunities when they arise. But yeah, I'm not looking to team up and fight PvE. I'm just minding my own business, getting out of here. So yeah, this game's pretty uneventful, but I just wanted to keep it in to show these weird team up friendly situations. This is a decent spawn. If it's within the circle, I'll usually try and loot through it, but I'm not sure if I actually stay here for this one. It's nicer with fighter because you can, you know, you can use arrows to draw in enemies one by one instead of fighting them all at the same time. So this is quite uneventful to begin with, but I think we get into some good combat later on. Just getting our buffs off, trying to dodge some of these arrow attacks. Guy seems to be aiming low though. I think this is a bard. Kind of forgot bards could use, what do you call it? Bows. So trying to get the heal off, and then we've immediately got a barbarian coming up under us here. We've also got the bard buffing up behind us too. Just getting my buffs off, trying to dodge the felling axes. And yeah, he was too far away for the judgment there, unfortunately. And I decided not to follow just because we got the bard right there behind that door, I think. Barbarian doesn't care though. I wouldn't be going in like that if I was that barbarian, but he decides to go for it. So we do have the buffs running out here. But I decided to go in for it anyway. Looked pretty weak. I think he had a battle axe on there, so it was weird that he whipped out the staff, whatever it's called. So just doing some looting here, and then we got a fighter coming up behind us. He's already popped his second wind there, so we know he doesn't have that to use during the fight. And he also looks like a new spawn, so I'm not really worrying too much about it. He does get some good blocks off though, but I get the block in too. And we have the mace going over his head, which is nice. So I was doing a bit of looting there. We do have a portal behind us, but I heard people in here, decided to push in. I know I always have the portal to my back to fall back to. So we have the fighter, was it a fighter there? And we can hear arrows coming in from somewhere. It's probably that bard from earlier. I can't really see where it is, so I'm just trying to evaluate the situation, come in from another angle. So just come back in, just having a look around, try and see where the bard was shooting from. Can't see much. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So plus me that's 7. So there's 3 left. We saw 1 bard and a rogue or a fighter, whatever the other one that ran across was. I think it was a rogue. So we see the bard there, taking shots at us. Not doing much damage. We've got all this plate armor on. So there we go. We've got the 2 bards fighting each other. Decide to go for the buffs. He's got the swarm to his back. So all he can really do is either come forward or try and jump down. Try to get some blocks in. But he goes down and he's at a big disadvantage here. I can cut him off at any spot. He's getting his buffs off. I get mine off. Backing up, trying to hide myself from his the range of his bow. He's gonna stay in the trap. I decide to jump through the trap, though it's not really worth it because he gets off to the right. But I'm still just trying to cut him off from getting up to these stairs. He does have, there's the elevator in the back there, but it's also in the swarm, so he's gonna take a bit of damage if he tries to take the elevator. I just get back to the high ground, see the rogue here. The rogue decides to jump down as well. So these are our last, we know these are our last 2. Just the rogue and the bard. So the rogue decides to take the elevator. Just keeping an eye out. We don't want to go down and fight the bard if we got the rogue on top of us. So I'm just trying to get a bit more higher ground. Got the bard taking ale as well. Didn't know bard. I thought I was only cleric, so I could drink ale. And here we got them both fighting. And there's both of them dead. So we know that's all the enemies dead now. So we're just gonna do a bit of looting. Need to be careful in this situation as well. We know this is the very last circle, so I'm not gonna spend too much time messing around. Gonna try and get more there, but we've got the goblin in the corner that I forgot about. So yeah, there is a lot of nice loot there, but I decided not to chance fate. I just go immediately for the portal. And yeah, I could probably, I think there was a portal that spawned below, so I could probably go jump down, open that portal, but I remember that there is this bard here, so I just loot him and immediately run for the portal. There we go, that's a nice little game. And this is our last game. Spoilers, we do end up dying in this one, and it's a pretty stupid death, but I'm not too annoyed. We had a good run on this build, and I did learn something from it. I also had a bunch of backup gear, so not too annoyed. Just heading down to this little loot area. Also, just want to say that, you know, I'm not great at this game. I don't think I'm not a pro player, and these aren't pro guides, but I think I have some decent insights, and I don't see a lot of people on YouTube doing these more, you know, long form commentaries on gameplay. So probably keep making videos like this. This can be a sticky situation just because you have two mummies that can spawn here, and I also somehow drew aggro from the mage. I hate that ball attack so much. I also didn't realize, I knew you can't, it has like a no potion icon, so I know you can use potions, but I didn't realize you can't use spells either when it hits you. Just looting here. And we can see got a fighter coming in, so I get my buffs off. Doesn't look that geared, but can't be too careful with this class. I think this ranger wants to be friendly with us, but not really in any mood at the moment, so I decided to take him out. Missing a bunch of shots, but just keep swinging with the flanged mace. There isn't that much, you know, like follow through, so you can just keep swinging. And now we have this nice loot area cleared out. Kind of thought maybe someone was here already, because there isn't as much loot as there usually is. Just skipping through here, nothing too interesting going on there. But we've got a warlock here. This ends up being a bit of a tense situation. I kind of underestimate this warlock just because they're naked. Just trying to cut them off here. Make sure they get all the aggro from these goblins. And because you're so slow as the cleric, you can, if you're close enough, you can get away with punching. Just to get some damage off. Though I'm not close enough for it here. So at this point I probably should have just tried to get a heal off. And this guy's cornered. I think he's going to go for the door, but he doesn't. I can't really see him too well. And here, yeah, we very nearly die. But for some reason he decides not to immediately rush in on me. And he goes for his spells, but that gives me enough time to get some heals off. And he starts running now. And I sort of pretend that I'm giving chase and back off a little bit and get a heal potion off. So now I'm more concerned with the fight here. And luckily I get it off there, because one more swing and that could have been me. I think it's the whatever enchantment he had, or I think he uses a spell on his sword. And he had a green falchion, so it was a sketchy situation. I decided to use my surgery kit here. So skipping forward a little bit here, we do have a portal upstairs, but I see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's only 2 people left, so I decide to try and fight someone else. And this guy's getting his buff off. He also has protection pot on. I think I hit the body there instead of myself with the protection pot. He gets his judgment off on me. And I do underestimate this guy. I get an eel off. I probably should have went for the protection potion there. I missed 2 of my shots. He gets 2 of his shots. I only hit him with the body there. He gets another one, and I am dead. It's very unfortunate. I really did underestimate this guy. But, you know, I learned a bit from it there. So, yeah, that's the video. That's our guide. Just gonna let this video keep playing. It's just me getting a new build in, just because I have so much extra gear on me. And this is the gear that I showed at the start of the video. So yeah, that's my tank cleric guide. It's hard. It's very hard to play cleric solo. I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend you do fighter first, and then, you know, if you want to do cleric, you can switch to it. It's just the gameplay loop isn't. It's just sort of annoying that, you know, I have to do, you know, 3 or 4 different buffs before I actually get into a fight, and even then I'm weaker than my fighter would be, and I'm also lacking any range. It would be nice to see, you know, a few more spells for offense for the cleric, because most of the offensive spells right now are just catered towards PvE, and yeah, definitely fighter would definitely be more fun. I should definitely try out cleric rather. I should definitely try out cleric in a team composition. I think that'd be a whole lot more fun than than playing it solo. But yeah, it's hard. Try it out if you want. I don't think doing a cleric without the tank format is viable at all for solo, at least. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Just another Dark and Darkened video. Next video I'll make will probably be on stats and just looking at, you know, a basic overview of statistics. You know, just for Dark and Darker, and yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.